Now, imagine you meet someone in a bar and say, so what do you do? And you say, yeah, I work in the bank. What do you do? He says, yeah, you know, the usual. I won the race across America 3 times. And I've climbed Mount Everest. Bloody hell. Now, that's a story to tell. He will sell it. And the story is called, If You Want It, You Will Do It, The Power of Thoughts. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome Wolfgang Fasching. Welcome, Wolfgang.
Du brauchst jetzt Intro.
Right this way. Hi there.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Amazing story.
Thank you.
Have you got everything? You're looking for something, right?
Thank you.
You're looking for a clicker.
Okay.
If you overcome the Mount Everest, we shall also find a clicker for you. I never thought I could help someone who can climb the Everest. This is amazing.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So, boys, can we get the slide fixed? Don't worry, we're all excited. Hang on, it'll just be a question of minutes.
No problem.
Bloody hell, Mount Everest. Out of all things in the world. So, backstage. This man needs some slides, please. And they're working on it. They're working. You ended up in a traffic jam today coming here,
Yes.
right?
There was a big accident on the highway and the road was closed for more than 1 hour.
But you've made it. Boys and girls, we're nearly there. And you should certainly listen to this man's story. Who of you has ever climbed the Mount Everest? Raise your hand. That one has. None of you has. So, we're nearly there with the slides. That's what happens, you know, once we play with technology. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about... Okay, you're going backstage while you're doing that. Okay, then I'll tell you an interesting story. Once I thought about climbing the Mount Everest, and after about a minute I thought that's going to awfully suck, and decided no. So, yes, that was an amazing story to tell, wasn't it? Yes, I think so too. That's 3 people listening. But I like it. But you can't imagine the pressure it means for speakers to come on stage and their shit not working. That's an awful thing. And once that talk has been finished, what are we going to do? We're going to hand out the awards. And after that, we've not just got food and drinks, but we also got an amazing after-show party to obviously blow off all the steam that is built up in here. And again, I would like to thank you for really carrying the people through here. And I do have one question. Oi, attention please, important question. Who of you, thank you, who of you knows Austrian startups? Raise your hand. Okay, hand down. Who of those that has not raised their hand has a smartphone? That's all of you, you bloody whatever. The thing is, Austrian Startups is a non-profit to promote entrepreneurship and startups in Austria. I think it's a great thing because I'm one of 45 people trying to somehow change the entrepreneurial ecosystem amongst so many others in Austria. It was co-founded 3 years ago. I'm one of the co-founders. So if you feel like staying in touch with startups, not just today, but also throughout the year, 365 days a year, which reminds me of a cheesy song, you should go to the Facebook and like Austrian Startups. What we do is, we always provide you with the newest information on startups in Austria, on startups abroad. We have local meetups in every county in Austria, including, obviously, in Vienna, where we have our famed Stammtisch. Stammtisch, number 34, will be on Tuesday. And the funny thing is, it's Stammtisch 34 the first. We had around 30 people joining us. Now, on average, we have around 300 people. It's for free. We invite anyone and everyone to come. This time it'll be the US ambassador, who will be talking what it takes to bring a product to the US. And we will be talking to Thomas Schranz, who will be telling us, well, maybe Austria is a better place. It's going to be fantastic. I'd be happy to have you there. It'll be in Sector 5, and it'll be hot, sweaty, just like here. You can have it every month while preparing for the next avenue in a year's time. That looks good. That looks quite good too. I want it. You do it. I'm pretty curious. The slides are on. And if you've not liked Austrian startups at half an hour's time, I'm going to be utterly disappointed. So I know how many likes we have. I will be checking the likes, and I haven't got 30 in half an hour's time. I would be personally, dislike all of you. Yes, now that's horrible. In that sense, all the way from the Mount Everest, the stage is yours. Boys and girls, Wolfgang Fasching. Thank you.
Fast on a rough road, riding high through the mountains, climbing, twisting, turning further from my home. Young like a new moon rising, fierce through the rain and lightning, wandering out into this great unknown. And I don't want no one to cry, but tell them if I don't survive, I was born free. I was born free. I was born free. Born free. I will bow to the shining seas and celebrate God's grace on thee. I was born free. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the wonderful introduction and inviting me to talk to you about motivation and mental strengths. But I see that you're all highly, strongly motivated on that. This is one of my first talks in English, and believe me, it's a big, big challenge for me. Please excuse me if I make some mistakes or mispronounce some words, but I promise you, I will give my best for you today. That was and is always my way of doing something new. I give my best. I see this. No, thank you. Thank you. I see this as a chance for myself to go out and do it. I could wait until I'm 100% perfect to give a speech in English, but this would probably take me a lifetime. People very often want to start something new, but in the end, they never begin with it because they always find an excuse why they don't start. I would say try new things and learn by doing. And please allow me to use my note cards. As you can see on this title, you want it, you do it. Lots of people find this title very provocative, but throughout my long sports and business career, I have discovered that you can achieve your goals if you follow certain rules. First, what you do should suit you, and you should feel comfortable. Yes, I want to do it. The second is the will to do. You really have to want it. The basic requirement for achieving anything is willpower. If there is a will, there is a way. And the third is the faith in yourself and your abilities. If you not believe in yourself and what you do, then who else should? You probably know or have heard about most things I will talk about today, at least once before, but maybe you will try some of them out afterwards. People often ask me if I can motivate them. I always tell them, motivation has a lot to do with interest. If you are not interested in something, it will be very hard to motivate someone. In my opinion, you can achieve anything you really believe in. You can achieve whatever you want as long as it is realistic. For example, if I would say that I'm going to run a marathon next week in 3 hours without training, the chance is very high that I fail because it's not realistic. But what does mental strength mean? For me, mental strength is a tool for a positive lifestyle, including business and private life. The higher the quality of my life, the higher the quality of my thoughts, the higher the quality of my life will be. But please remember, positive thinking means also thinking realistically. It has to be realistic for you. Don't forget, It's only you who controls your thoughts. It's not anyone else. It's not the people around you. You are responsible for your thoughts. There is a big difference between thinking and doing. It's like the difference between successful and unsuccessful, being happy, being unhappy, being rich and being poor. If you only think about doing something but never start with it, nothing will happen. You can decide whether you think positively or negatively. The more positively and clearly you think, the more successful you will be. Our thoughts influence our life. Whether we are happy and satisfied depends on the quality of our thoughts. Build up a positive inner communication. We have approximately 60,000 thoughts per day in our mind, but only 3,000 of them are new. The rest is old or useless thoughts. A very vivid example for mental strength is the former British Formula One pilot David Coulthard. In May 2000, Coulthard was on his way to a Formula One race in Spain. His private Learjet had to make an emergency landing in which the pilot and the co-pilot died. Coulthard, his girlfriend, and his personal coach survived the bad crash. Only 3 days later, Coulthard came in second in the Formula One race of Spain. Isn't that amazing? In this moment, Coulthard was really suffering, but he managed to forget the horrible plane crash and all his negative feelings and his fear. He managed to focus his thoughts on the race. He focused on what was important for his job at this moment. He proved his mental strengths. This is one of my big role models. This man the name is Sir Roger Bannister. Roger Bannister, he's a former British track and field athlete and a neurologist, and he is also the co-founder of autogenic training. In May 1954, Roger Bannister was the first man who ever ran the mile in under 4 minutes. The mile is approximately 1.6 kilometers. Back then, everyone said that a human could never run a mile in less than 4 minutes. Even all the doctors, the trainers, and the coach said, that's impossible. But Roger Bannister knew, if he said to himself all the time, that's impossible, then it would be impossible. So he changed his way of thinking, and from then on, he said himself all the time, I will be the first man in the world to run the mile in less than 4 minutes. I will be the first man in the world to run the mile in less than 4 minutes, more than 100 times a day. After a few attempts, Roger Bannister finally managed to run the mile in 3 minutes, 59 seconds, and 4 tenths of a second. 6 tenths of a second faster than 4 minutes. Now, some of you could say that he probably had better equipment, better coaches, or even better medicine. He was a medical student. But the interesting thing about this story is that after Bannister broke this barrier, another 37 athletes also broke the 4 minutes mark in the same year, as did more than 300 athletes at the following year. The very impressive thing about this story is once the barrier was broken, it was not impossible anymore. I claim the border was only in their mind. Please keep the word impossible out of your mind. You can achieve anything you really believe. Thoughts are basically harmless. They only have an effect if you believe them. Did you look in the mirror this morning? Yes? Did you know this person? Yes. Do you like this person? Yeah, really? Do you love this person? Yeah? It's very important that you love yourself. Every morning, I can choose if I am in a good or in a bad mood. I got up this morning and said to me, I will have a good and successful day, and that I will meet friendly people. Do you know who the friendly people are today? I hope it's you. When I tell myself every morning that I will have a good and successful day, then the chance is much higher that I will have a good and successful day. You have to do this over and over again, not only once or twice. So it's your choice every morning if you are in a good or in a bad mood. Not every day is a good day, but in general, the majority should be good days. When I was a professional cyclist, I trained around 320 days a year. And believe me, not every day was a good day. Some days it was raining heavily and I had to train for 5 or 6 hours. That was not fun, but most of the days were good days and I enjoyed riding my bike. A very simple but useful tool for motivation is music. I think everybody likes music, huh? Do you know the feeling in the morning when you turn on the radio and you hear a song you really like? You start singing, swinging, and moving. When you hear on the radio a good song, please turn up the volume. Oops. When I cycled race across America, music was very, very important for my motivation. I only played 8 to 10 of my favorite songs, and I listened to them over and over again. Can you imagine if they play Bruce Springsteen, Bryan Adams on these loudspeakers? You cannot cycle slowly then. And now I will give you a few examples for music for my motivation.
You got it tough. I seen the tough so round. And I know.
Oh, one more. You cannot cycle slowly then. Believe me. And one more special song, one more special. That is the... Dieb Herzelein, du musst nicht Stop. Please believe me, music is very important for our motivation. And it affects our subconscious mind. Does anyone know this mountain? Has anyone climbed this mountain? This is Mount Vinson. That is the highest point in Antarctica. It's one of the 7 summits, Mount Vinson. The 7 summits are the highest mountains of each of the 7 continents. In mountaineering, the 7 continents are North America, South America, Europe, Asia, Australia, Africa, and Antarctica. This mountain is nearly 5,000 meters high, and it's not too technical, otherwise I would never get to the top. But when I was there, it was about minus 45 degrees. As you can see, I had very, very warm clothes. But what I want to talk about now is the word on the right side of the picture, the word success. What is success? Who is successful? What does success mean to you? I assume everyone in these rooms wants to be successful. Each of us wants to become more successful and lead a happy life. This is the nature and the basic resource of mankind. My definition of success is the achievement of set goals. Most people don't have goals. Not many people have handwritten goals. If you write your goals down by hand, your goals are anchored in your subconscious mind. Another excuse people have for being not so successful is that they say they are not talented enough. They say Lionel Messi, Lewis Hamilton, they are so talented. But the truth is that only 5 to 10% of success is talent. The rest is very hard and consistent work. In my experience, hard-working people overtake the talent in the long term because talent alone doesn't achieve anything. Talented and hard-working people are going to be world champions. I have cycled around 750,000 kilometers in my life. That's almost 17 times around the world. You cannot avoid to win some bike race with this amount of training. Practice, 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 and you will become better at what you are doing. You cannot prevent it. Many years ago, I met a very famous and a very successful man. He's very successful, and I suppose all of you know him. I had 15 minutes time to talk to him, and I asked him, after I was so nervous, and after a short photo shooting, I asked him how he became so successful. He was very frank with me. He gave me a straight answer. He said, you need visions, you have to work hard and consistently, and you have to have a positive attitude about your action. That's all what you need for success. You need visions, you have to work hard and consistently, and you have to have a positive attitude about your action. And this very famous and successful man is Arnold Schwarzenegger. When he was 20, he was Mr. Universe in bodybuilding, and 5 more times after that. When he was 40, he was the highest paid actor in Hollywood. And when he was 60, he became the governor of California and was even re-elected. He's a very successful man. Whether you like his movies or her political attitude or not, he's a really, really successful man. At the beginning of every goal, there is a vision, a wish, or a dream. The vision is the driving force of our actions. If you put visions through a time frame, they become goals. Visions have emotions and feelings. My advice to you, please set high goals for yourself. High goals have a high driving force, and low goals have a low driving force. Now I will show you the basics of Race Across America. Maybe some of you want to cycle in the next years through America. Yes. Most people say Race Across America is the craziest race in the world. For me, it was not so crazy. It is 5,000 kilometers long. It goes from the Pacific coast to the Atlantic coast. It starts near Los Angeles and it ends near Washington, D.C. Every participant must cycle the same route. As you can see, these red marks, these are the time stations, which are also checkpoints. There are 50 to 55 on the route. RAM is a non-stop race. Meaning it consists only of one stage, and you can stop and sleep whenever you want. There are no official stops or breaks. The rules are very, very simple. Now, some of you think that America is a very wide and flat country, but the change in altitude is enormous. This means 35,000 to 40,000 meters over the curve. That is almost 4 times the height of Mount Everest. The highest point I cycled in America was the Wolf Creek Pass in the Rocky Mountains in Colorado, which is 3,200 meters high. The roads are not as steep as in the Alps, but they are very, very long. The longest ascent I cycled in America was more than 50 kilometers long, more than 50 kilometers long. When you cycle such up a long hill at night, you need a lot of patience. You have no orientation, and you don't know how far you have to cycle up to reach the top of the mountain. This is a matter of patience and endurance. The great variation in temperature. At the start of the Race Across America, the temperature is about 25 degrees, which is a pleasant temperature for cycling. In the Rocky Mountains, sometimes the temperature drops to 0 degrees, which is quite cold, but if you have warm clothes, it's okay for cycling. But in the desert, sometimes the temperature goes up to 50 degrees. This is an extreme high temperature for the human organism. You have to be very careful. You have to protect every part of your body. Believe me, 50 degrees for cycling is a very hot temperature. Please allow me to tell you a short story. It was so hot, more than 45 degrees, and I asked my crew to make a short stop. And one of my crew members said to me, Wolfgang, don't moan, don't complain, you are lucky. You have an airstream out there. We have to sit in the closed car. But by the way, he forgot to say that they have air conditioning in the car. During the race, you have to drink a lot. Between 20 to 25 liters a day. When the temperature is 50 degrees, it's not difficult to drink so much. But when the temperature is normal, it's very hard to drink 1 liter per hour. But the most difficult part, I think, is the sleep. The fastest racers don't sleep more than 8 to 10 hours during the entire race across America. This is a big challenge during these 8 or 9 days. I normally sleep 7, 8, 9 hours a day. I do not sleep less than the average. But through the years, I learned to deal with this. This is a question of attitude. One thing is very important, that you believe yourself what you say. Lots of people have a list of excuses explaining why they don't achieve their goal. They say, it's too much, it's too long, it's too hot, they're too young, they are too old, and so on. On the other hand, there are some people like you. They say, why shouldn't I achieve that? And believe in their abilities and believe in themselves. Oh, by the way, if you can eat like a horse, you should do this race. You can eat 18,000 calories per day. You can eat 18,000 calories per day. Look at this. These are 18,000 calories in form of noodles. This picture will help you to imagine the amount of calories your body needs during 1 day in the race across America. It's a hell of a lot of calories. I recently showed this picture in a classroom, and a small girl raised her hand and asked, Mr. Fasching, do you always eat your noodles without sauce? That was a very, very funny question. It's not possible to eat a bowl of pasta this size. Here I have a bag. This contains 200 milliliter and it has 300 calories. Most of the time I drank this special fluid. It's not possible to eat a bowl of pasta this size. This is only a picture. But pictures create feelings and emotions, like advertising does and uses. The basic data of Race Across America is not so important. What's important is the message. If you have a big goal, don't let your doubts stop you. You must be able to imagine reaching your goal. The imagination is very important. For example, if you want to lose 2 or 3 kilograms and you cannot imagine it, then there is only a slight chance that you really lose weight. I was the 13th Austrian on the top of Mount Everest. If I had told myself before, this mountain is so high, this mountain is so dangerous, I'm not a good technical climber, I've never done such a difficult climb, I will try, but I cannot imagine reaching the top of Mount Everest, then it would have been impossible. But my goal was clear. I want to reach the top of Mount Everest. I had several images in my mind of me standing on top of Mount Everest, how I would look at the top and what I would feel like at the top. I was definitely not the best mountaineer in our expedition, but I achieved my big goal because my mind and body was very well prepared for climbing Mount Everest. Many people fail because they are not completely convinced about their actions. When you have a goal, it's very important that you imagine reaching it. Albert Einstein said, the power of imagination is more important than knowledge. The power of imagination is more important than knowledge. I think if it's a good rule for him, then it's also a good rule for all of us. In 1996, I did my first race across America. 10 years earlier, I saw a documentary on television. It showed an Austrian cyclist who was the first European who entered this race, and he won it. He became a big role model for me. I was so excited about this race. It became clear to me that I will do this race in the future. I immediately told my mother about my plan to do a race across America in the future. Surprisingly, she wasn't happy about it. She said to me, Wolfgang, you have never been to America, you don't speak the language, it's unhealthy, you are not a great cyclist, you don't have a team, you don't have money, and so on. But her biggest fear was, what will the neighbors think? This is a typical influence from outside. You have a good and a great idea, and people around you know why it's not possible. My advice to you is, don't allow to change the way you think. I finished my first race across America in 3rd place, and I won the title Rookie of the Year. I was very proud of this award. I reached my big goal. From that moment, it was clear to me, things which seem impossible are possible if you believe in them and you work hard and consistently. I trained around 10 years for my first participation. Just after crossing the finish line, I said, I will never do this race again. But a few days later, when I was back in Austria, I started thinking the race again. After my 3rd place, I knew I can win this race. The only possibility was to prove that, to go back and do the race a 2nd time. 1 year later, I actually won the race. A big dream came true. And now I have And now I have a short movie prepared for you. 2 years ago, in 2014, I set a new world record. I cycled through Russia 9,901 kilometers in 21 days. Yes, this was my last project, and now I have a short movie prepared for you, which will show, it's only 4 minutes, which will show you all the ups and downs during a long-distance race. Please enjoy the video.
Es beginnt mit einer einfachen Idee. Gedanken verdichten sich und die Nonstop-Durchquerung Russlands wird zu einer Vision. Bilder der Vision gehen mir durch den Kopf. Die bloßen Gedanken an die Distanz erfüllen mich mit Bedenken, aber auch mit Faszination. Die Herausforderung lässt mich nicht mehr los. Begeisterung treibt mich an. Nichts kann meine Gedanken stoppen. Sie drehen sich, sie winden sich, sie fügen sich zu einem Gesamtbild zusammen. Ich reduziere mein Vorhaben auf das Wesentliche. Die Startlinie in Wladiwostok und die Ziellinie in St. Petersburg. 10.000 Kilometer dazwischen, 10.000 Möglichkeiten, 10.000 Chancen, 10.000 Risiken, 10.000 Unsicherheiten. Fragen drängen sich auf und beunruhigen mich. Ist es möglich? Kann ich es schaffen? Was kann alles passieren? Ist es zu gefährlich? Ist die Distanz zu bewältigen? Hat es schon einmal jemand gemacht? Wer begleitet mich? Was erwartet mich? Wie wird das Wetter? Warum mache ich das? Wann kann ich es machen? Aus meiner einstigen Idee wurde eine Vision. Aus der Vision wurden konkrete Gedanken. Aus den Gedanken wurde ein klar definiertes Ziel. Die Nonstop-Durchquerung Russlands mit dem Fahrrad. Die Bedenken, es sei unmöglich, es sei zu weit oder es sei zu gefährlich, wurden beiseite gelegt und ich stehe jetzt da, wo ich mich vor einigen Monaten in Gedanken sah. An der Startlinie in Wladiwostok. Vor mir 10.000 Kilometer. Hinter mir ein großes Team aus Spezialisten. In mir der Wille zum Erfolg. Und das Bild der Zieldurchfahrt in St. Petersburg. Alles, was ich jetzt tun muss, ist treten. Dem Ziel mit Demut und Geduld entgegenblicken, keine Bedenken haben und meine Erfahrung einsetzen. Ich habe alles geplant. Doch es kommt alles anders. Schlechte Straßen, tiefe Schlaglöcher, wechselhafte Wetterbedingungen, harter Regen, erbarmungslose Umstände, materielle Gebrechen, gefährlicher Verkehr, rücksichtslose LKWs, komplizierte Navigation, zehrende Schmerzen, kurze Pausen, große Müdigkeit, physische Erschöpfung, mentale Leiden, bedrückende Dunkelheit, fremde Kulturen, endlose Weiten. Und ein ebenso harter wie unvorhersehbarer Unglücksfall. Ein rücksichtsloser Autolenker nimmt mir die Vorfahrt, stößt mich zu Boden und begeht anschließend Fahrerflucht. Die eigentliche Problematik beginnt dann, wenn man versucht, Unveränderbares zu beeinflussen. Ich erkannte schnell, dass ich viele Dinge nicht ändern kann. Sehr wohl aber meine Einstellung gegenüber diesen Dingen. Indem ich meine Sicht auf diese Dinge ändere, ändere ich die Dinge selbst. Ich lerne mit den Hürden umzugehen. Das ist der Schlüssel zum Erfolg. Die Schmerzen machten mich härter. Aus Ungewissheit wurde Faszination. Aus Bedenken wurde Begeisterung. Aus meinen Begleitern wurde ein starkes Team. Aus meinem Team wurden Freunde. Und aus meiner einstigen Vision entstand das größte Abenteuer meines Lebens. Ich weiß um die Kraft der Gedanken, wie sie mein Leben beeinflussen. Und wenn man etwas wirklich will, kann man es auch erreichen. Russia Coast to Coast. 10.000 Kilometer nonstop von Wladiwostok nach St. Petersburg.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That was just a movie, not more. Not more. Give all the best. Whatever you do, never give up. That's my advice to you. Thank you. This was a very exciting event for me. Talking in English is a big challenge for me, believe me. I hope you got some tips out of this, how to lead a happy and motivated life. Thank you very much. Thank you. Das gibt's doch nicht.
Ladies and gentlemen, Wolfgang Fasching.
Danke. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Wolfgang Fasching, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh.